Welcome back to Wise Kracks. I'm in my kitchen. Bill Krackomberger's at some undisclosed location on the strip with Kelly in Vegas. I mean, what's going on? How did I not get this invite?
Hey, sorry. No, Kelly just flew into town and she had this
Right.
like fantasy to go to the strip club. And I said, Kelly, I'll take you. I don't care. I really don't do strip clubs. She's got me drinking. I never drink.
Who are you?
No.
Yeah, who are you?
It's crazy.
Where is the real Bill Krackomberger, and what have you done with him, Kelly? What is going on here?
Listen, I had some old school plan here. We're going to meet up with a couple of my girlfriends
Oh,
that Bill's
God.
also friends with, and it just worked out that Bill and I ended up at this strip club that also happens to serve Mexican food.
Mexican food, yeah. El Dorado.
It's a strange
Cantina.
combo, tacos and tacos. Yeah. So, Bill, my question for you, Bill, is how many drinks have you already had? Tell the truth.
I had.
We're splitting this one. This is my second. We're splitling it.
Okay.
So
Was there a round of
half.
shots? Was there a round of shots by any chance?
No shots.
But it's a frozen
No
margarita.
shots.
I'll actually do a frozen margarita once in a while.
Okay.
But yeah, so Kelly is in town. I ask, I don't know why you're here.
SuperCon this weekend at our good friends at the Westgate. So I'm hosting SuperCon this weekend. We got the golf tournament. Got to get signed up for the contest. I'm going to do the Kelly and Murray podcast and say hi to all the people that I miss so dearly.
Yeah, Kelly lives in Florida, which I was down there with her a couple months ago. And she said she was coming in town and she wanted to get together with some other friends. And it wound up just being us.
Kelly, what part of Florida are you in?
Just south of Tampa.
Oh, okay. Because I have a studio
Nice.
in Boca also. I was going to say,
Ooh.
if you're ever in Boca and you need to use the studio, you just march in there, tell them John Orlando sent you, and you're comped, Kelly. You don't pay in our studio.
I love that for
You know
me.
who else is in there? Joey Merlino.
Yeah.
Philly guy.
Yeah.
The Philly guy.
And by the way, he was in our studio here too. He was very nice and with his assistant there. And they were listening in on our podcast. Of course, he wanted some winners, right? You guys bet sports. No, he was very nice. But now I want to ask you guys both something. Did you guys hear about what happened at this $750,000 robbery at Sam's Town?
Every time I hear about a
What
Vegas
is going
robbery,
on?
every single time I'm going, who has the balls of all the places in the world to rob? Like, I know there was a movie or three about them.
This one is pretty stupid. But to be honest with you, this kind of robbery happened downtown too. Someone called the cage downtown and said, "I'm Derek Stevens.
Yeah,
bring me
I heard
money."
that.
It just happened. It happened. Well, not that it just happened. It just got reported at Sam's Town again. I don't exactly know the date, but it just got reported. This person brought $750,000 out of his cage down the street to a Mexican restaurant and handed it over to somebody. I mean,
So okay, I think
He handed it over to somebody posing as the lawyer for the casino.
you know. For
Yeah.
the lawyer. That's exact. They pose as the
Okay,
lawyer for the casino.
So it's here's the problem. It's the internal people. It was the same problem at Circa. It's now the same problem at Sam's Town. I'm thinking like old school. Like when I worked at the Bellagio, homeboy rides up on a motorcycle, nabs all the chips and just pieces out. Like this is just stupidity. This is
Unbelievable.
incompetence on an employee level. Like I thought you meant like a robbery, like someone's going in, guns blazing, riding out on a Harley. Like
that would be better. That would be a better plan.
thank you.
That's happened at the Westgate, and that's happened at multiple times at the Bellagio. Last time they killed the guy outside.
Right.
But by the way, they don't want to talk about this. They don't want to report it. So
Well,
for you
Vegas
to even
doesn't
know-
report a lot of things like that.
Yeah, that was actually amazing.
So crazy. But Bill, that has to be an inside job though, right? I mean, there's no way the
That's what I
cashier
said.
is
You would think.
someone that dumb?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, the incompetence is according to what I read, that person had nothing to do with it. And the reason why they finally got caught, and that's the reason why this came up, they just tried it a second time, like months later. Same casino.
So crazy.
Yeah, I mean, how can there have to be more? So, big story. DraftKings.
Yeah.
We win.
Yeah. And Kelly and I haven't even discussed this. The players, I don't know, win, but yeah, you're right. Now, DraftKings has now put out a statement and said, we're sorry. We're not going to pass along that 3.6%, give or take, tax to the customers. So we've been reporting that. We talked about it like everyone else did. And,
Yeah.
Now they have reneged on it, but I guess I'm the only one thinking this. I'm the only one thinking that, you know, it was just an insult to begin with now. I think there's still...
No. Let me play devil's advocate
go
here.
ahead.
So I was just in Denver over the weekend with the Premier Lacrosse League. They take sizable action. They took a couple dimes from me.
Really?
Throughout the weekend on lacrosse, right? Like I was happy about that. Like in Florida, I wasn't able to get down as much, but like since I was in Denver, okay. So props to DraftKings on that. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Do you think that they thought FanDuel was going to go, you know what? Because think about what they did to us in Florida. With Wes Flagler, right? Yes. And they tried to say, "Oh, we're gonna fight the Hard Rock and all this thing," and they had buddied up together. Do you think that they were gonna get buddied up, and FanDuel was gonna go along, and it was just gonna be like, "Hey, sorry, boys and girls, but now that the two largest operators in America are on board with this, everybody else is gonna join in."
Very good. That could be too, because they were just thinking everyone else was gonna join them. Yeah, you could be right about that. But bottom line is, Kelly's right. Actually, the players do win, because this would have been a bad precedent set across all of the jurisdictions, not just, you know, those 4 states where they're the highest taxed in those states. So I'm glad to hear. You know, I got to tell you though, who is this management that, you know, they're probably not sports bettors. They don't know the pulse of the industry. They just decide, oh yeah, we're going to tax the bettors. Don't worry, no one's going to. That instead of putting any common sense, street smarts into the decision making. It just still bothers me. I think people will always remember this kind of thing. You know, they already have some of the highest juice on some of, but a lot of the new sports books. I'm not going to pick on DraftKings, because DraftKings.
That's fair.
I always say, and you know, someone told me today, you're very good at DraftKings. I am pretty good at DraftKings because they're good to me. I'm allowed to go to the sports books in Connecticut, spend a lot of money, allowed to go to the counters and bet. Yes, I'm not allowed on the apps like other people, but I just think some people will remember this. So. Good, I didn't know you even knew about that.
Yeah, of course.
No, what else? Plugging for you. What else are you doing?
Win for all the little people, right? Like I always tell people, look, we're already paying 10%. We're paying 11 to win 10 every single day. Like we don't need to get the extra tax. Like no offense to these operators that went into these states like New York and Illinois that already have a ridiculous tax rate. Like, but that's on you. That's what you decided to take on. That doesn't mean that the customers should have to also take the burden of that. So ending on that, look, been over at Wager Talk, doing lots of big shows for this football season. Just did some previews for AFC and NFC with Bet on It. I've got a new couple of spaces that we're going to be starting to do live. Our guys at the Westgate, we're going to do a look behind the counter every single Saturday and Sunday, kind of reviving a show that I did.
I like that. They're doing a look behind the counter.
So years ago, remember the cancer guys?
Yes.
We did a look behind the counter. So I'd be at the CBS studios here in Vegas, and we'd pop on, and it was grainy and it was awful. Yet we got a ton of views because it was like, happy Saturday. Here's our liabilities on the college front. Next day, 10, 20 minutes on the back end before the NFL slate kicked off. And it's like, here's our biggest liability we saw for big bets. And so I really want that look behind the counter. From that perspective, what are we seeing that's sharp? What are we seeing that's square? And you can take that information, do what you want with it, right? So it's
true.
Lots of big stuff happening for this football season. Running some of my own contests. My friends over at Splash Sports, / Kelly in Vegas, of course. We're doing a college football survivor, me and John Murray, which will be an interesting twist on things. Then I'm doing a couple of pick'em leagues, $500 one, $100,000 is up for grabs. And then we're doing $100 one that I just did today because I got a little overzealous. You know, you and I were talking about like putting down wagers and stuff, and you go, "You bet that much earlier?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just not out there."
Seen Kelly firing early. I was like, you know, for all these people that say, "No." I mean, I'm pretty tough on people in general. I don't care, guy, girl, and I'm pretty tough. I know Kelly bets. I had no idea she bets the amount she bets till today. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, thousands of dollars. I was like, "You got beard in for me."
and we're going to talk about that later. But that being said, I do think it's really interesting because everybody's threshold is going to be different. Everybody's risk aversion is going to be different. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I wanted a $500 contest for the entire season. I actually wanted a $1,000 contest for the entire season, but I did a $500 thinking I would get more entrants. And it just hasn't been as great as the $100 one I released today. Like we got tons of signups already. So I'm hoping that Splash comes around like they did for college basketball season and slaps a guarantee on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because we all love that plus
now, what is this? Go to Splash. What's the site?
Splash Sports.
SplashSports.com/
.com/Kelly in Vegas.
Okay, good. I want to check that out
Okay.
myself. Good. And I want to know something, Cal. I ask you live. Have you ever played this thing called credit card roulette? Oh, you have, right?
Yeah.
No, John, have you done this?
Of course, yeah.
Kind of new to me. Listen.
It's new to you. No, you know
Come
what? It's new to Bill
on.
because Bill always just picks up the damn tab.
Right,
He
yeah.
he just whips out a lot of cash and pays the tab. So there is no credit card roulette. Like,
when you're with Bill, you get really short arms when you're with Bill.
alligator arms.
No,
Yeah.
I like to pay. I like to pay. It's just like the way I grew up. But let me just tell you though. So I was around these he knows one of them. I just almost gave his name away.
Oh.
I was around these guys that are very wealthy, where there was like 5 of them worth tens of millions of dollars. I'm going to say I was maybe 5th on the list, put it that way. These guys, and they did this credit card roulette thing. So you know what this is? You put it, and you give it to the waitress. Did you give it to the waitress to pick?
So usually it usually just like thrown in the middle, and she just picks whichever one because she doesn't obviously know anybody's names usually at the table, and whichever one she picks, that's who pays.
So she didn't know. I have an American Express that has no lifted numbers. Lifted numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm a sick person. I really am. Like I'm thinking to myself, well, how do I not get picked? You know, because the waitress is going to pick something. She's going to feel the raised numbers. So I give her the lowest, the one with no things on my American Express. She picked it. She picked mine. So
I was the opposite.
He wanted to pay anyway.
I was thinking though that you picked the card with no raised number. Sure enough, she picked. I never did this thing. I never did credit card roulette.
So my new favorite thing is not credit card roulette. My buddy Carmine put me onto this.
Okay.
If you got a wealthy group of friends and
Carmine, that's where you're talking?
Yeah.
I love him.
He's the best.
Bianco or something like that? I love that guy.
Carmine and his brother taught me this game, and it's Ask Surrey. So if the bill is, let's just say $2,300, you say, Surrey, pick a number between 1 and 2,300. And you ask the server beforehand, hey, do you want to gamble? You want to gamble with your tip, or do you want your 20%, right? 20. He tips more than 20%.
I love this, by the way.
Ready? So he says,
this is great.
And you ask
I watched
Surrey,
him do it. I went to dinner with him.
I have seen Surrey pick 2,300 on a $2,300 bill, so that's what they tip the server. I have seen her pick $900, which made
server should say yes always.
Why not?
I went to the Italian.
You're looking for 80%.
Yeah,
80% is on your side, right? Because if 20%,
that's right.
Right,
so you're a big favorite to do it.
Right, so $560 is the minimum you should get. Now you may get screwed, but I don't think actually Carmine would let them get screwed anyway. But it is like crazy watching everybody like hover around Surrey on the iPhone.
So
I love that.
Make you laugh. You don't know. So I go to dinner. Carmine wants to meet me. I go to dinner at Italian American Club. We had 13 people.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect him to pay for the meal. Not only pay for the meal, he did this thing. So he asked Siri.
He's so generous.
The Italian waitress, the Italian American Club waitress says, "Oh, I'll do it. Sure." She doesn't know. Well, he says, "All right, pick a number between 1 and 870," which the bill was 870, I think it was. You know what it said? $23.
No.
23 was the first one, and he's like, "No, we're not doing it."
It's broken.
And then something's wrong. He says, "Do it again." Did it again. Pick a number between 1 and 860, 870, it's 775. So,
oh my God,
he goes, that's good. He gave her $775.
Wow.
She started crying.
I bet she did.
She started crying. No, it's a little like
that probably paid her car payment and insurance for the.
What a nice guy. I don't know anything about the guy. All I do is know I met a classy guy. He's from Canada, I think.
He's great.
Italian guy invited me to Italian American Club, and I seen that, and I never seen that. Pick a number, and
but servers, if any servers are listening, always say yes to that because it is plus EV.
It's plus EV because, like she said, 20%. All you have to do is go above 20. You're 80% favorite to pick that. So,
they're the Kansas City Chiefs, damn near every weekend.
Oh,
I love that.
Just to win the game, anyway.
Yeah.
Not to win the game.
Or if you want to protect the server, because you're not gonna let her get away with 15 if they pick 15. Is just start at 20%. Make the number start at 20%.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
You could do that too. I never thought about that. But it's so funny to watch when it lands on like 15.
Yeah.
And they're like panic. It's like sheer panic.
That's
as a former server, I would have panicked too. I'd have been like, no, I made a terrible mistake.
Right.
I have a these are all spontaneous questions. If she doesn't like them, we can cut them out. I have a question. Did you come to Vegas here without a rental car?
Yeah.
Oh, because of this?
You can drink the whole time.
All right.
Why would you get a rental car?
Okay. I was like, you know.
Oh, no. Listen, but okay, I tell people this all the time. If you have to like, okay, so like in Tampa, everywhere you go downtown, you got to pay to park, right?
Okay,
well, if you got to pay to park, or even worse, you're going to get a ticket because you let your meter expire. You might as well just Uber because you're going to have drinks and leave your damn car somewhere anyway. So I am team Uber all the time. Actually, I will say this pro tip. The Uber line was really long today at the Vegas airport. Just take a damn taxi. There was 0 people in line. Get there and take a taxi and go. That's easy, but no.
I was going to ask Bill, have you ever been in an Uber?
Yeah, of course.
But it's a nightmare for you, right? Because you're a germ freak. You spray it down when you get in the car?
Sanitizer right here. Yeah, no, I have it right here. Don't worry. But no.
He does have it.
Oh, no, I just used it. Yeah, I just used the sanitizer. But no, I do use Ubers, and I never think of it like that you're saying. No, there's my little.
Now I just ruined it for you.
No, I never think of it like that. You're right. Someone else is touching that door. I mean, listen,
right.
I've been lucky. I haven't really been sick, so I thank God I never had like bad COVID or anything. But I just asked that question because someone was first time in Vegas, rented a car and walked from the Luxor all the way down literally to the stratosphere, and he almost killed himself.
So when I was 19 years old and I won a trip to Vegas in a bikini contest in college, I had my little fake ID and I came out here with my older sister. And it was really funny because I remember we went to the beach club. Do you remember the beach club? Like old beach club.
Wait. Oh, the beach?
The beach.
The beach. It was on like Paradise?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we went.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was 19. I was 19.
I remember that place.
The drink and the beach.
No, the beach club was like right across from Westgate, right?
Piero.
Yeah.
Like Piero.
Yeah.
He literally looked at me and he goes, barely, and lets me and my older sister in. He goes, barely. I'll never forget that. And I wagered $100. Me and my dad put $100 on KC to win the national championship. I think they won 7 games that year. That was awful first sports bet ever. But it was really funny because I didn't get carded the whole time I was here. Like 19 years old, didn't barely get carded except for at the beach, which is why that made it so funny. And I remember somebody was like, "Hey, you guys should rent a car." And I was like, "No, me and my sister are gonna be drunk the whole time. That sounds like a way to go to jail." So I found it really funny because back then there was no Uber. Uber will take you anywhere. By the way, Uber will pick you up at the Westgate and drop you off at Piero's. They don't care. Like they're going to get paid regardless.
Yeah.
Taxis back in the day though, when I first came here as a tourist, they're like, "No, I'm not taking that close." And my sister and I stayed at the Imperial Palace, which is now what, the Quad?
Okay, what is it? What's it called? Boy.
Yeah, something like that.
By the way, it had the best prop. Well, Jay
Cornegay was
the
there.
Imperial Palace was the best place to be back in the day. Did they have a drive-up sport? I think they may have had a drive-up window even. Maybe
they might have.
I drove up to a window to bet sports when I first came to Vegas.
Anyway, I remember I had heels on, and I get in to cab, and we're like, "We're going to the Venetian," and the guy's like, "No, the fuck you're not. Get out of my cab." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "It's right there." So there I am, bloody-footed by the time I get to the Venetian, because it's not right there. I mean, it's right there, but it's not, especially when you're in heels.
Right.
So night number 1, I learned not to wear heels in Vegas. And then the next day, my sister and I walked from the Imperial Palace to Stratosphere, and I had never been so hot in my entire life.
Wow.
Like, it was miserable. Like, Uber is the best thing ever to happen to Las Vegas. It truly is.
At the link.
The link. Thank you.
So John, you don't notice either. It's funny. You just brought me back. My first time in Vegas was around 91.
Okay.
And I actually came in. I forget what casino was my first casino I stayed in, but it was like whatever casino. It was like the bottom of the line casino. And I walked all the way to Palace Station from like, it might have even been like whatever Mandalay Bay is before it was Mandalay Bay. The name of
that was before the 215.
Yeah,
there was no 215 to walk.
I was so excited to be in Vegas the first time.
What was it, January? That'd be the only way you'd be able to do it.
It was unbelievable. That's 30 years ago.
Oh my gosh!
I got another question for you. Well, spontaneous questions on air. Again, these could be deleted. Who knows? Why? Kelly and I did Action on Showtime. If you guys haven't ever get a chance to watch Action on Showtime. Why did you leave Las Vegas? You moved to Florida.
I did.
I ask that?
I mean, nobody's going to like the answer.
Oh, really?
Well, half of
I
people are going to like it.
You.
So you know what made me really sad when you said that? Because I just rewatched Action on the plane home from New York City. And my good friend Dave Kogan is no longer with us.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot he was in the show because
he was on there.
He was.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot because he just had like such a small cameo, but he said such wonderful things about me. And I watched it. I was like crying on the airplane, like just staring up. And I was like, oh my God.
Were you on JetBlue?
Yes.
Because JetBlue, someone told me that goes, like, actually still on JetBlue.
So I went to Italy with Ariel Epstein.
Yeah.
And when I flew home, we'd flown there Delta. But when I flew home, I flew JetBlue so I could fly direct and out of JFK. And we were on there. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this, like, because I'm bored on a 2.5-hour flight. I had the whole road to myself.
Watching you watch yourself.
Yeah, thank God there was nobody next to me because I was crying on an airplane. Thank God. How vulnerable. But that is crazy because I had not watched it in years. Yeah. Like, I watched it when it first came out. I remember they leaked us remember you and I were so pissed. We were like going back and forth. Like, they promised us this guy was not going to be on the show.
Yeah, we were really pissed.
Oh, I mean, because they had to lie to us. Like, the producers would have told Krack and I that he was on the show. We weren't going to do it.
I was bad. By the way, he fell off the map now, though.
I mean, I'm surprised. I was going to say, is he in jail? Yeah. Anyway, back to your question. Why did I leave Vegas? So I had job offers in Bristol, Connecticut. I had job offers in Costa Rica. I had a lot of different things. I think, to me, Vegas was always a short-term town. You know, I saw something today on Twitter and I was like, going to comment. And I was like, no, that sounds really arrogant. And it wasn't meant to be arrogant, but I could see how people would perceive that. So I graduated college in 2007, right before the recession. So there was no jobs. And I remember calling my dad and being like, hey, I'm going to move to Vegas. And he was like, okay, kid, do whatever you're doing. I mean, I was bartending in college. I was making, let's call it $500 to $1,000 a week in college bartending.
Sure.
Right?
That's
and then
good, I think.
Yeah. For a college kid, 22 years old, great money. And then I had all of this debt. And then I was supposed to go get a job making $35,000 a year. Right? Like with my degree, except for those $35,000 jobs, we're all getting laid off. All the people that were a year or two older than me were moving back in with their parents. I mean, we were about to hit a very bad recession. Vegas got hit worst of all.
It did.
It really did. And I was here for a lot of that. And it was great for me, though, because I got to buy a house. Like, I probably wouldn't have gotten to be able to had that not happened. I got to learn so much more about myself and about different industries and about business. You know, look, I got a great piece of paper from Kansas State and I learned a lot of book things, but working marketing, and everybody says this, oh, well, it's not. Working bottle service in Vegas taught me more about marketing than my marketing degree ever taught me. Like, I learned so much.
Common sense.
So when I say this, like, this is no disrespect to Vegas, but Vegas had a very small shelf life for me. And I told myself 5 years. Next thing I knew, I was 10 years in. Next thing I knew, I was 15 years in. And I'm like, I saw an opportunity with COVID to be able to work remote from anywhere I wanted to. Wow. And I said, you know what? Like, I miss being around my friends and family in Kansas. I miss being around my dad lived in Montana. My mom she had just retired during COVID. And I was like, where do I want to be? And so Brett and I were talking about it. And I said, okay, here are your choices. South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Florida. Though I have no state tax. That's one of the perks about living in Nevada. And you know, a lot of people from California are moving here because we have no state tax. And I said, and we looked and he goes, I don't really love Texas, which Texas was first on my list. I love Texas. Yeah. Growing up in Kansas, like, Texas is like the place to be. South Dakota, not doing the snow. So then it was basically down to Tennessee or Florida. Like, do you want to have property?
Tennessee's a hot state too.
Yeah. Or do you want to be near a beach? And Brett is such a beach guy. Right. And I've turned into such a beach girl. Like, I just loved being there. So during December of 2020, January 2021, we went down for Christmas. We rented an Airbnb. Different family members came down. And all of a sudden it was like, well, do you want to look for a house down here? Like, and it kind of really started.
So that wasn't planned? You're like, just gone down.
I mean, it was just like, it started to really grow on me. I mean,
no family was there or nothing?
Not yet. Everybody came after us. Actually,
who's there now?
Wow.
So basically everybody.
Your mom?
My mom moved down. My mom was the first one to move down. Oh. Actually, I take that back. My dad was the first one to move down. Dad, I remember I called him. I go, hey, Dad, Brett and I just bought this house. And he goes, okay, I guess I'm going to move to Florida. I'm like, what? You're going to, whoa, time out. I'm like, you're going to hate Florida. You live in Montana. You don't like people. And Brett's little sister, actually, I take that back. Brett's little sister was living in Tampa. She was our real estate agent. And she said, oh, there's some hillbilly parts of Florida your dad will love. So we started looking outside of like Gainesville and some other areas. And he is just thriving.
And he's good?
Yeah.
And
my God.
Mom?
And my mom's down there. Brett's mom's down there. Brett's brother's down there with all of his kids.
Hey, is humidity terrible?
No, I love it.
No.
Honestly, I'll say this.
Beach town. She's in a beach town.
I'm in a beach town, so we have a nice breeze.
She's just there.
Like,
well, I was just going to ask you, Kelly, what is worse, a summer in Vegas or a summer in Florida?
Oh my God, Vegas.
Weather-wise. Come
Vegas
on.
It's like a blow dryer in your face. I walked out of the Westgate earlier and I like went right back inside. It was like a blow dryer blowing me in the face.
What about the humidity?
It was awful.
Yeah,
it feels good. Your skin's not dry. You're not a lizard. You feel youthful. You're not like full of cracks.
Speaking of lizards,
I get Botox like once every 6 months versus once every 3 months.
Are there iguanas all over the place where you are, or is that just Miami?
I have yet to see an iguana.
What about bugs too?
There's bugs, but you know what I did catch on my dad's property the other day? I didn't catch. I take that back. I just removed him, and I didn't realize, but he was an endangered turtle. I had this massive tortoise.
Yeah.
And he was just like hanging out. And so I reported him today to the state of Florida because I didn't know. And Brett's brother texted me and goes, "Did you know that was a gopher tortoise and they're like endangered?" I'm like, "No, I didn't know," but he was like in the road and I was worried about his well-being. So I picked him up and I moved him.
I've done that in New Jersey.
I moved him. And so we have turtles, we have gators, we have tons of deer, tons of turkeys. We have lots of sandhill cranes. I have yet to see an iguana. And maybe that's because I'm a little too far north for where they really are. But I will say this on the plane. So Aunt Joyce lives down there with us too, Brett's aunt, and her son is coming from Australia next week. And he's like, "Hey, is there anything like fun to do?" And I was like, "You know what I really want to do that nobody will do it with me is anaconda hunt. Not anaconda, boa constrictor hunting." So boas were released in the Everglades illegally. Well, they're illegal. Like you're not supposed to dump them, and people are terrible human beings, just like they dump dogs and everything else. So they dumped them in the Everglades, and now there's a massive population of these invasive snakes. And there's an airboat guy that takes people out, and you can hunt these snakes. And I'm like,
now when you say hunt, what do you do with? You don't kill them, do you?
Yeah, fuck yeah, you do.
Or you're killing the snakes.
You need to. They are. Listen,
they're going after the animals.
They're going after. They're not native to Florida. They are destructive. They are predatory. I mean, listen. Would I like to do something to the people that drop them there instead? Sure, but it's no different than anything else that becomes invasive. And that's what they are. They're killing the birds. They're killing the fish. They're all the things. The gators are the old school dinosaurs. Yeah. That's their home, and they shouldn't be fighting with the boa constrictors for their right.
I've seen videos.
Yeah,
I've seen videos of boa constrictors. Now that I think about it on Twitter with the gators.
Twice a year they do a hunt, and you get paid hundreds of dollars per foot. Like guys go out there trying to get the biggest one. Anyway, there's a guy that goes out there every single weekend. And so I told Aunt Joyce's kid who's coming in from Australia, I was like, if you want to go hunting, that's what I want to do. Like, why not?
Wow.
I know I'm kind of a redneck. I just gave away my secret.
Listen, I'm an animal person like you. We're animal people.
Oh my God.
I give to society. There's a Black Panther rescue there.
Okay.
And I actually send money to her.
Yeah. So Florida Panthers are coming back. We're really happy. We just saw one in Fort Myers. You've been down to Fort Myers before?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's a little nerve-wracking to see one in your backyard, but happy that they're coming back.
They have a couple places there where they actually take the ones that are wounded on the streets and roads in. I'm all for that. I'm all for animals. You're for me and you.
Oh my God.
People.
Yeah.
Forget it. That's our family. Going back to the gambling side. So John, I put a video up yesterday about these video poker progressives. How you should look for the best video poker progressive. And I've never ever once ever asked Kelly this in person or seen her. Do you ever look for stuff like that? Do you gamble in the casino? Do you play anything? Craps? Maybe when you got a couple in you. Are you going to hitting the floor? Are you? Yeah, she keeps grabbing my leg now. But to be honest with you, but anyway, it's all right. No, do you ever gamble in the casino?
So I do. I love to play blackjack. Obviously, I know that the odds are against us. I prefer double deck. Excuse me. That is almost obsolete at this point in time. It's almost gone.
I love double deck.
I think I could still find it maybe El Cortez downtown. The last place I played it.
Tower has great double deck blackjack.
Right, and a couple of high limit.
Keep their own tips. I'm not going to say anything.
Ooh.
Keep their own tips.
Okay.
Table for table.
Johnny and I are going out later. I'm going to let him know that.
Okay,
so I think that is what I like from like a table game. I love baccarat. I love baccarat.
I can't believe you
really.
I know. I
wasn't expecting baccarat.
Of course not.
Wow.
And every single time I have these little old men look at me like, "Who are you and why are you in this baccarat room?" I love baccarat. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Pizza.
And I love I love that you can flip over the cards, you can rip them up. You can
rip them up.
So you talked about the win. I actually broke a sculpture in the win one night. My buddy had $3,000 on a hand. I had $1,000 a hand. And the guy who's got the most money out gets to hold the cards. So in the high limit room, I think it was $500 a hand and win. And my buddy's like, "I'm going to the bathroom. Check my cards." I'm like, "I can't touch your cards. I'm not touching your cards. Like, I'm gonna sit right here." And he's like, and he throws his card. He comes back and he's like, "I told you, that's a K9." And he starts barking at the win, barking like K9. And I'm like, "Okay, all right, you're a complete crazy person. He's like, flip them over. I was like, I'm not
I
touching
love
your
it.
cards. So sure, he takes my hand and he makes me flip over the card. So I have this hand right here on the back of the chair. And I go to hit him because, of course, it's a K9.
Sure.
He knew it was.
Sure.
And I hit this beautiful glass sculpture in the high limit room behind me, and it just shatters. My hand is full of blood. And I'm like, well, I'm glad we won $4,000 between the two of us because we're getting kicked out of the win now.
Why is there a glass sculpture right by the game? Like that?
What, I mean,
Well, there
look,
isn't.
I don't
There
have
isn't
that long of
anymore.
There isn't anymore.
There isn't anymore.
So but I never heard you
ever
yell
since
on
that
this.
night, I love Bach because it is like high energy. It is fun. And I also feel like you can pick out your own patterns, right? Like they put the dots, they put the slashes, they close out the circles on the board. And so you can interpret it how you want, right? I'm not saying it's plus EV. I'm not saying it's great. It's great when from an entertainment standpoint, I could sit there all night long. Whereas Blackjack, I lose 3 or 4 hands in a row and I am pissed off and I am ready to leave.
Find this double deck Blackjack, just a simple strategy. It was real simple. You're playing 2 decks. That means there's 8 aces, 8 fives.
Yep.
If there's more fives out than aces, that's all you have to know. That bringing the game down to a lower EV, more fives than aces. I love double deck Blackjack. You can almost you don't have to even know how to count cards. Just you can see there's a bunch of low cards compared to high cards. I love a double deck. It has to play 3-2 though, guys.
Yeah.
3-2 Blackjack, and they're probably not going to let you surrender. But but
come on,
there are some.
Are you a surrenderer?
Well, if you're card counting and if it's a plus count, you're supposed to surrender. If it's
all right,
not me. I'm going down swinging.
Well,
I mean, well,
I'd rather hit a 17 than surrender a 16.
Fair enough.
You're always going to hit 16 versus.
Listen,
7.
I'm not hitting a 17, but you're right. I'm not surrendering a 16 either.
You're always going to hit.
Can't do it.
You're always going to hit 16 versus 7 or 8 or even I'll even say 9. The situation.
Okay.
You're never
always
going to hit first that.
Okay, Kelly, let me ask you this. Since we're talking about Blackjack, Krack and I got into it as close as us, whatever that could sound like, as me and him getting into it. A couple months ago, I brought up, I love free bet Blackjack. Tell me you love that game. Come on.
I don't love anything other than just a double deck.
Gimmick Blackjack.
What are you going to do? Play Casino War next?
Right.
You don't like that?
I mean, I love Casino War. The idea of Casino War is wonderful. You are just so drunk, you can just sit there and they just keep dealing to you. You have to have zero wherewithal of what is happening, but no, it is not a good bet. And same thing with free bet Blackjack.
How many more drinks do you have to have right now to play free bet Blackjack? No, there's no amount of drinks that'll get you to free bet.
Two more.
I'm telling you though, you guys all know I don't.
Yeah.
But however, a frozen margarita is what I requested in here with salt, right? That's salt on the top. With salt on the top. And I was
now. Did you get chips and guac also? Chips and salsa, or is this just drinks? Oh, you did.
You chip yourself to death. That's the problem with Mexican restaurants. You chip yourself to death. That's all I ate today was chips.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, we speak of the win where she broke the nice whatever.
That was so bad.
I was just in there. I was saying how that's one of my spot. I love the win. It's amazing the attention to detail.
Oh God,
the win. It really is amazing. Just
I worked there, right?
No.
Yeah, I opened Surrender and Encore Beach Club.
Surrender.
Yeah. But think about the training we had to go through. 5-star, 5 diamond. It was,
down, I'm saying, how they
down to our uniforms, we had nail checks every night. These nails, just so you know, these nails would not have passed nail check. They're about a week overdue.
Check your nails.
Check your nails. They check make sure you every attention to detail. The win is no hold bars.
Is that all the way most of the casinos, the clubs do it? They check the girls for.
Wet Republic.
No,
Wet Republic, they check.
Wet Republic too. That's
nails and
some
stuff.
Of them, yes.
They're not putting you on a scale or nothing.
Tal did.
No way. I was joking.
No, you got 5 pounds either way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not going to be working at Tal.
They definitely did.
Wow.
But no, not joking. The attention to detail at the win. I would be leaving there at 4:00 in the morning after work, and they would be shampooing the carpets every single night.
I watched as a little old. Well, he's not. I haven't seen him in a couple trips.
No, but they are. Yeah, right.
Down with little tiles.
Yep.
And he would. All his job was to do was to replace those beautiful tiles. And he was. I talked to him one day. He had an accent from Italy, Carrera, Italy. He said, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wow. But well, John, anything else we have? You have anything?
No, this was fun. This was a good bonus, Krack.
And you didn't even know.
We should make this a regular
Give me a
thing.
margarita and a half, and I'll just do the whole podcast on accident.
No, we talked about everything I wanted. I had a couple of notes.
Let's do this.
The credit card. I knew you guys knew credit card roulette. I never did it before. We're wise guy that I am, trying to get the American. It didn't even work. Cost me $700.
Mine's EV, credit card roulette.
But all right, guys, we'll see you next week. For Kelly for coming on. Thanks for John, and we'll see you next week.